Well, welcome back to the 97 Grand Voyager. Still have a couple things to do. I'm going to do a transmission fluid change on this and filter change. I've got a fluid pump for this. You don't need a fluid pump, it just kind of makes it a little easier. I'm going to go down and we're going to drop the pan in this, and you can empty this out by dropping the pan. And I'll kind of talk a little bit about that when I'm underneath. It's just easier this way if you have a pump. If you don't have to have one. I'm just going to feed this down in the trans tube all the way to the bottom until it bottoms out. Hook it up and start pumping the fluid out of it as much as we can get out of it. You maybe can see how dark that is. It's supposed to be red. Not looking so red. I just let that pull fluid out about 10 minutes, pull about 3 1/4 or so quarts out. Here's the transmission pan, your 10mm bolts. So if you're doing this without one of those fluid extractors, and you start to loosen this, it's going to want to pour all over, so you kind of have to be smart about it. I'm going to loosen this bottom edge. Obviously this is tilted to the rear of the vehicle and it's going to run out this side. I got my jack stand right there, so kind of jam myself. You might want to move that jack stand and put it a little farther back. But we want to tip this pan so it kind of leans more that way, and anything that's left comes, or if you're doing this without the fluid extractor, everything in the pan goes, because it'll have a tendency to go all over the place if you're not careful. So that's what we're going to do. Just going to go around and undo them. I'm not taking them all the way out yet. I'm just going to loosen them. Alright, leave the corners. Size one as well, maybe? I don't know. I don't think so. Alright, I think I've got the 4 corners in there now. Like everybody else. I've got them loose. And obviously I want the ones on the back side here that's going to drain, I want them down. Just a couple threads hanging on. Down as far as I can, because I wanted the tip that way. I have a feeling the front's loose as well. That this is not too bad, actually. So you can see it's dripping a little bit, but not too bad, because I took most of the fluid out with the extractor. But if I just did that and without the extractor, it'd be pouring all over the place right now. So not too bad. Actually, I've got most of it, but you can see it's coming over it, so it's still got a fair amount in the pan. So I'm going to push back up on the pan. And I'm going to take the bolts out here so I can tip it even more. Drain it some more without trying to get it all over the place. Don't bend your pan. Once I get most of it out, I'll push it back up and take the other 2 corners on the front edge of the car out and drop the whole pan down. I got a big piece of cardboard under here because I've done this before. It makes a mess, or it can make a mess. That's enough. Should be the last one here. Unless I missed something. I don't think so. No, I did not. Carefully pull it down. Just dump it. Set it right in the pan. I'm just going to leave that there. I don't believe this filter has a bolt in it, looking. I think it's just a press in, I believe. We should be able to wiggle that out of there. I'm going to just let that drain for a little bit. I'm going to pull that filter and just let it drain. So it looks like the filter I have is not the right one, for sure. As it's a bolt in and not even the same shape. So I'm going to pull this filter, take it to the store, or supplier, and get the right one. Alright, so I've got the correct filter now, and found a couple things. I told you I didn't like the looks of two of the bolts, and two of the bolts have been stripped out. I see the inserts in the bottom of the transmission. I don't particularly like the way they're done. A little sketchy looking, but I'm not touching them. It'll probably cause more problems. I've got the new gasket. Now, I don't generally use these gaskets. I don't particularly like them. But with these two bolts, I think I'm going to have to. I want the additional thickness. But I'm going to silicone, and I usually don't silicone. If it's something like a GM with a reusable gasket, no silicone, works fine, seals up. I'm afraid this one won't, particularly with these two bolts that are stripped out, were stripped out. The inserts are sticking up just a little bit from, they're not quite flush. Not a lot, but enough that it very well may cause a problem. So I'm going to silicone both sides of this, which I usually don't do, because it's a pain in the butt. Because then somebody has to take it apart. It's just a nightmare to clean, to get it all off of there. But I'm going to do it because I think it might leak otherwise. So I've cleaned it really well. I've also cleaned on the transmission side. Cleaned that really well. Let me see if I can get this to come out. And I will silicone this and put the gasket on. And I've cleaned all the bolts. You make sure you clean them. You won't get a good torque reading for these. And I'm not a stickler for torque, but on this stuff, pans, gaskets, I am. Because if you don't, it will leak. This one's almost done. I do like this stuff. This is actually international, but it's like ultra gray, kind of like ultra gray. I like it a lot. Works very well. You do have to let it set up a little bit. You can't use it before, at least 10 minutes. I usually let it sit for at least an hour or two before I go to use it, before I go to put fluid in it, and it works really well. Now, just a thin coat. I don't want a ton on here because I'm going to put a gasket in there, but like I said, I'm afraid if I don't do this for this one, it's going to end up leaking, and I don't want to have to deal with that. And it might leak anyway. I'll find out when I get it all together, but I hope not. Got the pan. I'm going to go, and we're going to go put our filter in. We're going to put a little bit of transmission fluid around that, so and around the O-ring. Make sure the O-ring, make sure the old one came out. I'm going to push that in, and we're going to get this thing done. I have Brake Clean, chemical 1001 uses, and I'm going to clean. I already cleaned this a couple times. I'm going to go back over it one more time here. Actually, let me get my filter in, so I don't forget it and do something stupid. It just pushes up into place. That's all it does. Just wiggle it into place. A little hole for it on this side. Push it up, and clip it in. That's it for this one. It should stay put. There. The pan will hold it in place. Just push it up. O-ring's in there. Now I'm going to go around. Like I just said, I'm going to wipe this, especially this back edge, because that's where it's running to. It's been sitting overnight, so there's not much really coming out. I want to make sure it's clean. One last time. No oil on it. Transmission fluid. Okay. Let's get this pan on, and I will run these in. but I will not snug them up with the air ratchet. I'm just going to run them in to save a little time, and then I will torque them. Like I said, 15 foot-pounds. That's what it said for this one. Forward. Alright, my pan's right here. Get it lined up. My nasty looking wire harness out of the way. Try to stick it right where it belongs. And get it the right way, and I had it the wrong way. It goes like this, doesn't it? Yeah, like this. Trying to get I have my 4 corner bolts in, so I'm just going to start them and start them by hand. I got one. I got 2 started. This is the thrilling part. Maybe not. Not so much. I do want to get all these started. You don't want to, and I don't know what happened with the 2 that were out. Maybe they were hung up in there. Usually what will happen is people torque them too tight and they strip them out. It's usually what happens, but we're going to attempt not to do that, especially with the 2. They had to be redone anyway. They shouldn't because they have inserts, but like I said, I didn't particularly like the way the inserts were in there. And I have to get the inserts back into the right holes, too. Very important that you get these started without cross-threading them, which means do them by hand. Start them by hand. Don't be in such a hurry. You cross-thread one of these, you will not be happy. You'll just cause yourself all kinds of grief. You'll have to take this whole thing apart, drill it out, put an insert in it, trying to save 2 minutes. Not a good idea. So just get them started by hand. Ask me how I know. Cross-thread something, and it just wreaks havoc with you. Causes all kinds of problems for you. Right. I don't like that one. I don't like that one at all. Let's try that one again. This guy's giving me a little bit of grief here. I'm going to have to do that one. I can't get a real good hold of him in the socket to get a better shot at him here. There we go. He just didn't want to start. That's all. All right. Okay. Head right in the oil here. That's a good thing. All right, so this is my one that was stripped out right here. So I'll put my last one of the original bolts back in here. Or at least try to. I thought it was this one. Maybe it wasn't. Yeah, maybe I got that wrong. I thought I went right in. Maybe I had that backwards. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. I don't even think they're the same pitch. In fact, they can't be. Well, they could be. You could put an insert in there; it would do it, but I don't think they are. So the 2 that came out of the spots where they were inserts, that's where they're going back. Because I didn't check to see, are they exactly the same? I have no idea. My guess is no. Guess is they're not. But that's fine. Just make sure they go back where they came out. You probably won't have this problem, hopefully, unless somebody stripped them out on yours as well. That's my last one. Alright, well, you just missed me fighting with it for, I'm going to finish torquing. I got one set around at half the torque. I'm going to go up to 15 foot-pounds now. I had another one that was messed up from before, and I had to mess with it and chase it out and make sure it was clean, but it looks like it's good right now, so we're going to do a final torque on these. Alright, let me get my wrench set here. One. Come on, right on the edge. Feel it. 2. These hardly ever feel as tight as they should be, but go off the torque readings for this stuff. Just telling you. 3. Come on, 4. I knew you were close. I don't like this torque wrench. I'm going to get a new one. It's okay, just don't like the feel of it. There we go. I got 2 on the side. Let's get one in the middle here. Oh, that's close. All right. Let's go over here. And these are the ones that gave me problems. I'm not going to lean on that too much. Oh, down to 4 minutes. Some more should be there. Come on. Well, that's right there. Slipped right off. It's right there. There we go. I think we're not going to go any more than that, to tell you the truth. Because I think it'll seal. I'm not going any more than that one. See how that's there, alright. Alright, so what I found, I'm still deciding exactly what I'm going to do with this, but is that 2 of these bolts have already been stripped out and the helicoil's in there, and this one's no good. So I'm going to put a helicoil in it. Fortunately, I don't have to. I can fit this inside and put a new insert in here. And at least looking at this one, I couldn't see the other one. It didn't look like they broke the tang off of them when they finished, which is, you should do that, but I'm going to drill this one out. Which took about that long with the right size drill bit. I'm going to retap it for the right size here. At least that's the plan. And put in a insert because I couldn't, this bolt would not tighten up, which is, I kind of figured it wouldn't. Felt like it was pretty messed up. So we're going to put a new insert in it and straighten it out. At least that's the plan. We'll see how it goes. I hope so. I'm hoping not to have to drop the pan on this. That's really my goal here. I don't really want to drop the pan on this. I'm just going to carefully, you know, aluminum's likes to fetch up, so you kind of have to, once it gets started, you kind of have to work it back and forth and let it clear the threads out. It's easy to cut, but it'll grab pretty easy. You just kind of keep working it back and forth. So I got to hold this up out of the way at the same time. And I gotta get it started straight though. I don't want to get in there really crooked. Try to get this right. My head's in your way right now, but I had to get lined up here. I don't want us to be off center and screw it up. But now it looks like it's right. You can see all the, it's cutting the threads in it. This is all the way through. These go through, so not too bad to do. They don't go inside, at least this one. I don't think none of them do really. And it's all the way through. I had to drill one all the way through, so it's a little bit easier. It's a bottom tap, but still, it's easier if you can go all the way through. Go all the way up with this one. I'm probably threaded far enough easily at this point, but I want to go all the way in if I can. It's all the way through now. Back it out. Hopefully my head was not in your way the whole time. I'm sure it was for part of it. I did torque this down last night and let it sit, and I'm tempted, and I think what I'll do, and I was able to get pretty good torque on this bolt as well. It's not like it was totally stripped out, I just didn't like the way it felt. So I could get pretty good torque on it, and I'm actually gonna take a little bit of a chance, which is not really a chance. If it leaks, then I gotta drop the pan again and redo it. But I don't think it's gonna leak because I think it sealed up good last night. I think I had enough torque on it to seal it up. I just didn't like the feel of this one bolt, so I wanted to replace it. So I know I don't have a problem with it. All right, get my tool here. So there's a little tang in there, right there. Hopefully you can see that. It sticks out. You put that tool over it, like that. And then I'm going to insert it. I should be able to get this in there. Get the tap in there. Yeah, it should be just big enough to get in there. Should be, without dropping the pan. And it's going. I want to get that down to where it's, you know, a little past flush if I can with the sealing surface. Come on. Actually, I think it's in all the way. I'll line it up again, get it back in the groove. Oh yeah, I can't go any further with this. Let me see. I have another tool. I got a little bit of a longer reach with this one, maybe. I don't know. Maybe. Got a couple of these, so. Whoa. It's a little different kit here. I don't know what size this is. This is a different size, but what is this one? These are 6. These are a little smaller, but I might be able to use the tool. I just want to use the tool on it. Same deal. Same real deal here. I can get it in there. Just want to turn it in a little more if I can. Which I can. Now, the tang on there, you're supposed to break it off. Now, they didn't break it off. At least on this one, they didn't. I was able to get the bolt all the way in, but really it should be broken off. When I pulled this apart, I could see that the insert was sitting down just a little bit from the flush, you know, a little past the actual surface. And my guess is because the tang is in there, I believe when you break that tang, it kind of locks it in place so it doesn't move. The bolt in there, it's not going anywhere, but with the out of there, it might. So that's probably why they were down a little bit, and they've probably turned back in again. So let me go get a hammer and see if I can break this tang off of this one here. You can do it with a screwdriver as well. I'll bring one just in case this one doesn't decide to work for me. Alright. I'll be able to catch that. All I gotta do is hit it. Hit it and break it. Break the tang off of it. Just like that. It came through. Broke it off, and that's what I wanted. Just wanted to break it off. Let me put my stuff away here so I don't lose anything. I don't need to lose anything from this. Looks like I knocked it all over the place like I just did. These tools are they're not cheap, but they do work. And when you need them, you absolutely need them. There's no two ways about it. So, got my bolt here. I've got my insert, so this should go in now. Should. I say that tentatively because you never know what it's going to behave like. Looks like it is. Yep. Now, I have much more confidence now that this will not cause a problem. I'm just going to snug it up. It's only 15 foot-pounds. It's already set up from last night. So I just snug that up. I'm going to leave it. I was able to get everything else torqued down, so hopefully it won't leak. I will check it. If it does leak, then I'll have to drop the pan and reseal it because of that, but I'm hoping not. We'll see. Alright, so we're going to put 4 quarts back into this. I measured it when I took it out. That's what's going to go back in. That's where we'll start. And if we need to add more from there, we will, but it should be real close. It's about what came out of it. That's pretty much it. Not hard. I will obviously run this, let it come up to temperature, make sure I have no leaks, check my fluid levels, look in your owner's manual, tell you how to do that and how you should check it, and make sure there's no problems. And if I need to adjust the level, I will adjust the level. If it leaks, then I'll end up dropping that pan and redoing it, but I don't think it's going to leak. I think we're good.